So I've been going a lot. I've been actually looking a lot at the comment sections with like different Final Fantasy games, and especially the remastered Final Fantasy Type Zero HD, which is a HD remastered of the PSP version that was exclusively in Japan when the PS portable came out. But one of the comments stuck out to me the most, and it was a comment of, "If we got Final Fantasy Type Zero, why haven't we gotten Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII HD remastered?" And it really got me thinking, why haven't we gotten a remastered version of this game yet? Now, the gameplay footage that you're looking at right now is Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII on the PSP emulator PPSSPP, enhanced to 1080p using the emulator itself. And the game looks amazing with this emulator. I mean, just look at this game. Look how it is right now. Obviously, you could tell that it's PSP graphics, but just how amazing the emulator looks and how amazing it made it look in actually HD. And it really got me wondering, why hasn't this game been remastered yet? Especially since soon, hopefully soon, we are gonna get the Final Fantasy VII remaster coming out on actually PS4 whenever that's gonna be out. Amazon does have a date there, but I honestly don't know if that's the official date. But if you guys want to check it out, just look up the game in actually Amazon, and it will tell you more or less an actual date there. But going back to Crisis Core, I mean, this is pretty much a prequel of Final Fantasy VII, as well as the prequel to Final Fantasy VII Advent Children, which is the actual movie itself. And the movie was awesome, and you could actually tell that the HD remaster game will have a similar um, visual style to actually Advent Children. So since I love Advent Children, I'm super hype about the visual style. But going back to the game, I mean, if you really think about it, to fully enjoy the Final Fantasy VII universe, you will have to play Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII. Um, you could watch the Final Fantasy VII OVA, which actually will give you the last few minutes of actually Crisis Core. Then play Final Fantasy VII, and then watch Advent Children. So if somebody wanted to play these, you know, play all the games, they'll have to play on several different consoles. And not everybody still owns their PSP. I still have my PSP and I still play it once in a blue moon. But not everybody still has their PSP, and not everybody still has Crisis Core if they are a Final Fantasy fan. If if they're actually a fan, because of the fact that, games get broken, consoles get broken. It's just a fact of life. So not everybody will still have the game. So imagine playing the Final Fantasy VII remastered and playing the prequel all on one console. You could actually get the full Final Fantasy VII experience on one console and not several different consoles like it has been in the past. And uh, honestly, I think if they do a good job, this game will be great. Like Type Zero, I don't know what happened there. I think that's probably why fans are like, they're on the fence about Final Fantasy VII. But given from the trailers that they showed so far, it does look good. The game does look good, so keeping my fingers crossed. But going on, because of Type Zero and because of the Final Fantasy ports that have been coming out from the consoles slash PC, I could understand why the fans and why the fandom is quite, hesitant, because of the fact that the Final Fantasy series on PC, or actually HD ports in general, just hasn't been the best. It's been a hit and miss. Like X and X2 have been great, but at the same time, it's like, it's been a hit and miss. The Kingdom Hearts remakes, everybody was criticizing it because of the fact that, it just didn't look like true HD. It looked like the PS2 games upscaled with like some anti-aliasing and stuff like that to make it HD. But they could make a true HD game. I mean, they could seriously make a true HD game if they really tried. And Crisis Core is the game to do it. They really need to do it, and they need to do it now. They really need to do it now because of the fact that this game has such a fan base. Now, let's actually break it down to why this game will be successful. The graphics. Number one thing, graphics. Even Type 0, the visuals were awesome. The actual gameplay sucked, but the visuals were impressive. The gameplay videos, not so impressive, but the cinematic videos that they showed inside the game were beautiful. Crisis Core has that same visual style as actually Type 0, where just the cinematic movies. I mean, if all else, you could probably stick all of the cinematic scenes and actually cut them together, and they will actually be a good movie to watch. But moving forward, the gameplay. I mean, Crisis Core is different because it has like a hack and slash style, but that's what made it fun. It wasn't turn based. It wasn't waiting for the enemy to move, even though that was kind of cool because you could you could actually plan your attacks and stuff like that. But the actual hack and slash actually made it so much fun. And it was just hacking away, hacking away, hacking away, and getting to know Zack and getting to know the background of how he met Cloud, the origins of Sephiroth, everything about Crisis Core screams, screams success. And the PSP version, if anything, was a success. I was so happy when I got the game. It was just so cool to finally actually got to play these characters and get to know the backstory. I mean, there's so much I could talk about. This game. It's not even funny. I'm just trying not to make this video exaggerated. Um, but at the same time, it's like, why hasn't there actually been an HD version yet? I mean, is it because they're focusing on their energy on Kingdom Hearts? They're focusing all their energy on the actual Final Fantasy VII game? Who knows? But they really need to do this. They really need to make a Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII HD remake. I mean, seriously, it, I would seriously go to Square Enix and I would tell them right off the bat, make Crisis Core. You will not go wrong. Now, maybe after the Final Fantasy VII HD, maybe they'll do it. Maybe not. I have no idea. I hope they do. But you know, just look at the legacy Final Fantasy has. So if anybody's watching this, comment below and actually give your opinions whether this Final Fantasy VII game should happen. I mean, if if a PSP emulator can actually enhance the game this much and make it this good, because don't don't get it wrong, guys, this is actual like footage, this actual gameplay footage enhanced using the PSP emulator, and look how good it is. It's not perfect, but this is as best as HD as we're gonna get at this moment. So if an emulator could do it, a fan-made emulator could actually do it, why can't the official companies do it? Like, okay, if Square Inc. can't really do it, I mean, did what Infinity War did with actually Modern Warfare 4 Remastered, where they pretty much, handed the project off to another company, while you focus on the main series, the Final Fantasy VII remake, have the other company make Crisis Core HD remastered. Do it that way, guys. But this needs to happen, and it needs to happen soon, because Final Fantasy VII, the full story should be on one console. Fans should have to go through different generations and different consoles to get the Final Fantasy VII experience, because this game has such a rich story, has such a serious, rich story. And it's not just graphics, it's not just gameplay. What made the Final Fantasy VII series, Crisis Core as well as Final Fantasy VII, work is the fact that it had such a in-depth great story, such an original story, like all the Final Fantasy games that came before it, as well as after, because I actually do enjoy the stories of actually just about every single Final Fantasy 7 game, as well as the other Final Fantasy games. I actually love their stories. So um I actually think there was like maybe one Final Fantasy game I didn't really like the story. I was probably 12. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Final Fantasy 12. I didn't really enjoy it that well. 13 was good too, but had so many bugs that I think I finished it like a year later, honestly. But I'm digressing a bit. Square Inc. If you're watching this video, 99.9% chance you aren't. But if you're watching this video, it needs to happen. I mean, if an emulator could do it, and it could do it good, and it could do it great, why can't you do it? You know, there's only so much an emulator could do, but you guys have the money, you guys have the resources, you have everything in your power to make it happen, and it will sell. It will sell. I mean, just go on YouTube, Square Inc. Read these comments, guys, because they are everywhere. This is probably how I actually got the idea for this video, because of the fact that the idea of having Crisis Core, Final Fantasy VII, and Final Fantasy VII HD Remake on one console. I mean, if you guys are doing it with Kingdom Hearts, why aren't you doing it with Final Fantasy VII? So imagine, just imagine, you play Crisis Core, then you play Final Fantasy VII, then you watch Final Fantasy VII Advent Children. Just the complete story and the hours and hours and hours of time spent and well spent just playing this awesome game. I mean, if all else, just think of the dollar signs. If money is probably the main interest, just look at the dollar signs that you will be getting, because people will line up to play this game. They will line up to buy this game, and they will line up to make YouTube videos of this game comparing it to its original PSP version. You know, the possibilities are just endless, and Square Inc. isn't taking advantage of it. I mean, seriously, what do they do in their business meetings? Like, I understand that right now they're having their hands full with Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy VII Remake, but after all that is said and done, guys, make Crisis Core. Make it, please. I am begging you, Square Inc. I am begging you on my hands and knees. Make Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII HD remastered. You will not regret it. You will not regret it one bit. You will probably be thanking me, Square Inc. That's like, wow, that's way shooting up there. But, you know, uh, just make it, guys. Comment below, guys. Do you think we should get a Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII remake? Do you think Square Inc. Should actually make it, or should we just stick to emulators? Comment below, guys. I really like your enthusiasm. I really like the comments I've been getting, guys. It really helps me out. So keep on commenting. Keep on commenting. Don't be afraid to comment. I actually read my comments, and I like interacting with you guys. I interacted with actually a lot of great people, and I want that to continue. So thank you so much for supporting my channel, and as always, have an awesome day.